Okay, this is the shot we are trying to recreate. Moving down the street, having a bunch of balloons just moving around, and also replacing that ad screen behind the balloons. So let's get to it. In Blender, let's go to our motion tracking tab, since this is a moving video. Now let's drop our background video. Pretty simple video. Let's set scene frames and then prefetch. Now we have our video, just walking down the street. So at frame 1, let's detect features. That is a lot of features. Let's track forward. And detect features at the end and track backward. Then at 70, let's detect features and track backward. And at 70, let's also detect features and track forward. Okay, now let's just hit soft camera motion. So let's do a cleanup, a quick clean track. Increase your reprojection error till you have some of this selected, and delete, and let's soft camera again. Okay, let's do the clean tracks again and delete even some more track markers, then solve. Okay, it's even lower. Let's do it one more time. Yeah. And soft camera motion. Let's refine focal length and optical center and solve again. Okay, we are getting there. Now let's clean track one more time. Yeah. Let's see what this would look like. 0.37, that is actually good. Yeah, let's work with this. Let's switch this around, so 1920, 1080 by 1920. And then set up tracking scene. Click these 3 markers on the floor and hit floor. Now let's select these 2 and set scale. Yeah. Now let's see what that looks like. Let's make this ground invisible, and in edit mode, bring this up on the z-axis 1 and scale it down. Yeah. And we can just see that it is tracked. Yeah, it is basically staying in one spot while the camera is moving forward. Good, good, good. Let's very quickly continue with this. So let's scale this down on the y-axis, rotate it on the z-axis, try to line it with this here. Let's bring it on the x-axis, G, Y, Y, and just make sure it lines up here. Let's rotate it on the z-axis again. Yeah, then move it X, G, Y, Y. Cool. Now let's click on this in edit mode, this edge, and move it G, X, X. Yeah, you can see we are not really aligned here, so let's rotate it again this way. Yeah. Now let's bring this edge forward, so GXX. Make sure it covers all the way, GXX. Yeah. Good. And also for this building, let's click here and extrude on the z-axis, so EZ, and bring it up. Yeah. I replaced this entire thing with a CG version of it. So let's make this ground invisible, and let's rotate this guy until we are following the line. Then move it GXS to the front. Also move it to the side. Let's move it back. Let's rotate it on this axis. Move it forward. Move it to the side. And let's scale it on the YY axis. Let's rotate it on the Z axis so it lines up even more. RZ, then GYY, then SYY to scale it So here I don't want to, you know, the last one we did where we had this screen, we made a hole in it and made stuff pop out of it, but that's not what we are doing here. We just want to replace it with something else. So let's bring this one forward on the XX axis, bring it this way so it basically covers it up. Now what we want to do here is not the stick, so face select and G XX to press it in a bit, and select the top face and just drag it up. Okay, for some reason this does not look straight. I think that would be a problem with the track, but you can either just move it to the side and cover it up, but I wouldn't want to do that because I want it to be quite straight, you know, to fit the actual perspective. So let's do a RXX and then rotate it a bit till it's straight. Now let's just go back and forth to make sure we are totally covering the one behind. Cool. Let's apply scale and add a quick bevel modifier. Reduce the amount and increase the segments to like 10. Yeah, we have our nice screen. So we can bring back our ground and see we already have this part covered. Let's shade flat. Cool. Yeah, so we can just put whatever we want on this screen now. Now to add in our balloons. So this is my balloon, very simple and straightforward. You could model this yourself, or you could grab a model off of free 3D, CG Trader, Blend Swap, Sketchfab, etc. Now let's just spread this thing around. Honestly, we're just similar to what we did with the hot air balloon video. We're just trying to spread this around. Some here, some behind the screen, and also come here and adjust the height, randomize some of it. Yeah, you could arrange this as much as you want. Cool, let's see it in the camera view. Nice. One thing I really liked was having one directly in front of the camera. So when we were going past it, we had to literally pass through it. Not pass through it, like pass by it. Yeah, very closely. That really heightens the effect of it being there. So let's bring some of these ones down. You don't need to be that high because there's a tree right there. So we shouldn't be inside the tree. Yeah, we basically have it. All we have to do is now add some random animations to this. So click on this and hit I. So I on location to add a location animation to each of them. You can also add the same animation to all of them, but I don't want to do that here, just in case you want to have unique animations for each. Now that we have our keyframes on each of them, at the end of the video, at the last frame, let's adjust them however we want it. So for this one, I want it to move here a bit, so move it and hit I again to enter new keyframe. This one, I want it to come here, hit I. This one, let's just make it come here, around here, hit I. This one, I want it to go upwards in here. This one, I want it to go here, I. Let's say around here, I. This one, I want it to go up, I. This one, we also want it to go this way. So this is how they will all end. Cool. Now let's see that. Yeah, it's moving, but I don't like how it's starting slowly. So let's select all the balloons, balloon 1 to 16, and then over your timeline, hit T and linear to make them move in a linear motion so they don't slow down or speed up. Yeah, now we have a bunch of balloons and we're moving through it. You can increase the effect of depth. You can create depth by bringing these guys as close as possible to the camera. So the closer you are to the camera, the more depth you can create, but that's on you. And we are not doing that here, but then it's something you can do. For example, you can bring this close to the camera so that when you're passing by, it looks like you're going in between two balloons. But yeah, Let's just keep it this way. Cool. Now let's go into the material view. Now for the texturing, let's go to shading. Click on this, add a new texture. Let's bring down the roughness a bit so it's a bit shiny. And yeah, let's add our image. I found these images on Google. I just typed Deadpool and Wolverine and he brought out a bunch of images. Add it here to the base color. And yeah, we basically have this. Now for another one, you could just take that same material and make a duplicate of it. Then select a different image. Let's say we use this one. Cool. Now to adjust the scale or whatnot, you can hit Ctrl T over here, and then you can now adjust the scale, how big or small you want it to be. Yeah, I think that's cool. So you can just do the same thing for the rest. Let's just select the two we have created. This, give it this, this, give it this, this, give it this. Now you can create as many as possible. You could design your own. You have the freedom here. So I think that looks nice now. Good. Yeah, we have our colorful balloons all trapped in the scene. Now we want to add our screen back here. So let's go back to layout. Then let's duplicate this cube. So we have a copy of the cube and scale it down and bring it up on the Z axis and scale it on the Y axis. Yeah, just make sure it's somewhere in the center. Now I want to just bring it forward a bit. Okay, I think that's too much. Yeah, something similar to this. You can still bring it back a bit. Yeah, and let's move it on the Y axis so it's centered. And there we have it. It's pretty quick screen. Now in shading material view, let's add our image. So we are using this image, for example. Now let's connect the color to our base color and go in edit mode, select this particular face, and U to unwrap. Wait, let's apply scale first, then unwrap. Yeah, now let's go into the UV editor and you'll be able to see the image there. Now slide it to the right a bit so it's well centered. And yeah, we have our poster. Then for this box, let's make it a black material and make it a bit shiny. Yeah. Good, looking like the real one basically. So let's also connect this color to the emissions color. So color to emission color and increase the strength to 1 or to something less than 1, like 0.6. Just so it has some kind of, emission, some glow like screens usually do. Cool, this looks good already, You can see our screen there, you can see our balloons. Pretty cool. Now to create the switching effect, I'm sure you're probably wondering how I created the switching thing, switching from one to the other. Let's just duplicate this cube so we now have cube 1 and cube 2. Now for cube 2, let's add a different image. So we have this new image. Let's unwrap this one, unwrap, and then slide it to the right in the UV editor. Yeah, so it's aligned. Let's use this Wolverine one. Yeah, so we have them together and there is one under the other one. So what we want to do basically is to switch the visibility of each of them. So while one is on, the other one is off, and vice versa. So let's go to object and visibility. Now you'll see viewport and render. So for this one, let's go back to frame 59. Then click on viewport and render, add a keyframe. So at frame 59, it's showing. And at frame 60, let's turn off the visibility, then add another keyframe. So at 59 it shows, then at 60 it turns off. Now for the second one, cube 2, we are doing the reverse of that. So at 60, let's click the keyframe so it shows up at 60. Then at 59, we turn it off and we add another keyframe. So now you will see that it will switch here at that point. The simple switching animation. Now in our rendered view, let's add a environment texture. Now even though it was a sunny day, I used a cloudy environment texture because we're under shade. So we're not directly facing the sun. So let's change this to cycles. and then go to film, transparent, and turn it on. Yeah, now we have our render here. Now for this one, let's add a material and make it darker, like something like more of a gray material instead of white, because you can see when it was white, see this reflection, it shouldn't look like that. Like where's the light coming from? So let's make it darker so it matches what you would expect in the real video. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So we have our render, we have our balloons, we have the screen switching and all that. I think it works. Now if you want the blend file for this project or any of the projects we have done in this 30-day challenge, the link will be in the description. And if you're also interested in the background videos, this particular background video and every other background video we have used, so 30 background videos in total, the link will also be in the description. And finally, on the 15th of August, I will be launching a course, a CGI course, product CGI, creating things like this. So if you're ready to go deeper in this CGI VFX thing and you want to learn my entire process, there are a lot of things I can't talk about in the tutorials. I just have a short amount of time. But with a course, I'm spending weeks breaking down my process, from shooting, how to get the shots, how to track different types of shots, how to composite, color grading, different types of animation, simulations. It is loaded. So if that is something that piques your interest, absolutely check it out. The link will also be in the description, and I'll see you in the next video.